Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Awesome. Boy Kills World is starring Bill Skarsgård. Boy is a mayhem machine who's been training to assassinate the bloodiest, thirsty Hilda van der Kooi and avenge his family's murder. I might have seen the trailer for this movie maybe 3 times before seeing this movie. I didn't really know anything really much about it besides that it's going to be like an action flick, a fun action flick from what the trailers gave off. Because the trailers were giving off brutal scenes, and I'm like, ooh, okay, all right, this seems like my type of movie. I really like that type of high violence in films whenever they go that far with it. And I kind of gave Ungentle Warfare a little crap about it. I don't know if I left it in my review, but there's parts in the film that do feel like a PG-13 movie, even though that there's other parts in that film where we see people cutting throats, and then you see everything. You see the blood, you see the full-on action. Other parts you don't really see that, so it's like a kind of like 50-50 on the action. Here it's like you get to see everything. Like you get to see this dude get stabbed in the balls or whatever. Like you see all of it, and the camera shots around the action is very intense. It's very well put together, and you get to see everything. And it almost has somewhat of a tiny shaky cam to it, but not enough where it gets on my fucking nerves, like Arcadian, where it was nothing but shaky cam and it was annoying. But here it's like, all right, there's the action, show it, cool. All right, we're gonna get intense with it, close, intense, somewhat tiny little shaky cam, and that's fine. But that's kind of it with the movie. Unlike Ungentlemanly Warfare, that movie found that movie very funny and very entertaining, and the story was interesting. This is none of that. I did not find anything in this movie. Our main character in this is Death. He can't hear anything, and so throughout this whole entire film, he has this voice monologue, which can work and cannot work. It was like a 50-50 when it was like somewhat funny, but other times, most of the time, it was like annoying. I was like, I hate it. It felt like I was watching 2 hours of the dude who does voice trailers, which is fine for like 2 minutes, but after 2 hours, I'm like, I wanted to die. And it was like, I felt brain dead throughout the whole entire film. And half the time that he says, like when he ever has to react to anything, doesn't really make any sense. Or doesn't really match with his face expression, or you don't really have enough time to see his face expression to relate to what the voice is saying. And it kind of downgrades somewhat Bill Skarsgård's acting a tiny bit, because Bill Skarsgård has proven multiple times that he is a great actor, and even here, he has a great performance and gives off a great, face expression, because he can't really use any words, he can't talk because he can't, he's deaf. He gives off these great face expressions that you understand in the moment where okay, he's confused or shocked or happy, and you understand his vibe. But then you have the voiceover, voiceover explaining certain things, and it's like I already understood that. It's like you're explaining to me something. It's like if I'm that stupid not to understand what's going on in the scene. I don't mind his voice monologue and pop up every once in a while, because this is like a dystopia world somewhat, and somewhat video game-ish. This dude's into arcade video games, so every once in a while he goes player 1 fight, stuff like that's kind of funny and can work. And there's other times where he doesn't understand a language because he has to read people's lips to understand them. So there's this one guy, or these guys that he comes across to, and there's one guy that doesn't speak a language that he understands, so he doesn't understand what how to read his lips. And in the voice monologue, is I don't know what the fuck he's saying. That's okay, that's kind of funny, and Bill Skarsgård's reaction works a tiny bit. But then when this guy who doesn't, and this where the movie really falls apart, is that nothing makes any sense in this movie, and doesn't matter. This movie's pointless because everything that goes along in this movie just automatically just goes perfectly well according to plan, because this guy that he can't understand or at all, he accidentally does the plan right, because this guy, he's speaking in a different language that he doesn't know or can't read his lips. He's explaining the plan. It's like, and he does it all right. It's like, oh, you catch along pretty well. And I'm like, what? Would it have been more funny if he couldn't, if the plan failed because he couldn't read the guy's lips? It's like, no, were you not listening to I feel like there's better ways to make the comedic parts funny. But this movie tries to be funny so hard that it doesn't land well. Even the villains aren't funny. I found the villains fucking annoying in this movie. I wanted them to die instantly. There was one actually funny bit I liked in this movie where it involved holding something heavy and actually dropping it. And it turns and it happened to kill somebody. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Majority of the film just doesn't work, especially when it comes to the death elements. There's times where the dude reacts to something, but like he heard it, like, someone's off screen, like someone's like standing over here, he's not gonna be able to notice them, and like, that person starts talking, he looks over like he can hear them, or there's gunfire happening and he reacts to the gunfire. It's like, but you're deaf, you can't hear that. Maybe he could feel the like, is there I don't know. It's stupid. And when you think of this whole story itself, the revenge plot is so fucking pointless. There's this twist in the film that I'm like, it makes no sense. It didn't work for me. Nothing in this film besides the action and some like minor little jokes. This movie was just not fun. I was honestly I was pulling my fucking hair out while watching this movie, and I could not get into it. I don't know what about it that people are enjoying that find it fun and entertaining, besides the tiny little bits. And the biggest part is I did not like the voice monologuing. And now there's not a lot of films that use that type of style, using the voice overlay. But I just find it more interesting if there wasn't any. Maybe, well, you can have it sprinkled throughout the film, but really rely on Bill Skarsgård's acting skill. And this movie doesn't rely on it at all. Maybe a tiny bit, but it's like, no, we need the voice to explain this certain scene because because we need to somehow shove exposition into this movie, and because people won't understand because they're that stupid to not understand. I'm gonna give Boys Kills Worlds a D-. Like, I honestly, besides the action and besides tiny little bits of the film that I found maybe funny, a lot of it's just boring, uninteresting, and towards the end with the twist makes the whole film pointless. So anyway, guys, sorry about the echo. My mic was still not working, or not really fully charged. So, oh well, I have to deal with it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the review, and like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.